Greetings, movie fans, and welcome to the latest episode of the Summer Movie Draft 2025. We'll be dealing with the movies that opened on the weekend of July 25th, which in this case is a singular movie, which is The Fantastic Four: First Steps. And joining me for the this episode is my fellow player who has possession of this movie as part of his roster, and that is Dan.
Whoop whoop. Fantastic Four.
Exactly, exactly. So, normally we start off with anything that you particularly saw this weekend and all that sort of thing. And to be fully honest, Dan and I went to see this movie together. And what did you think of the movie, Dan?
Uh, I really enjoyed it. It was quite the story. It wasn't exactly like I thought it would go, and some nice surprises. Very
Exactly.
few complaints about it, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone
for
should go
sure.
see it. Yep, everyone should go see it like three, four times.
Yeah, I'll basically back up what Dan said. It was very entertaining. And again, at a not sure what you were actually going to get up until the last minute, I was thoroughly surprised by not only the fact that it was technically, again, another movie that didn't need to be an origin movie, which it wasn't. Like 2 weeks prior, we had a Superman movie that wasn't an origin movie, but again, we hinted at the origin throughout the storytelling of the actual
Yeah,
movie itself. And we had the exact same thing with Fantastic Four, which is kind of weird how they basically parallel each other that sort of way. But the fact that it had, especially front loading the whole entire movie with actual comic book lore of the characters was just a fantastic thing to see. I mean, using that word the way I wanted to use it,
oh
yes,
yeah.
pun is intended. But yeah,
A
it
lot
was,
of
yeah,
people refer to that as the Easter eggs were unreal.
exactly, exactly. And even if you didn't get them all, it was still an entertaining show and all that sort of thing. All right, so as we do every single week, we reflect on the domestic box office to see who technically won the weekend and all that sort of thing. And we're dealing with the first 3 days, which is the domestic, which is just North American box office. So for the first place is obviously going to be the Fantastic Four, which opened with $118 million.
Yeah.
Uh, second place was Superman, which actually had $24.8 million. Jurassic World Rebirth still playing strong, which is fantastic. In third place with $13 million. F1 the movie was in fourth place with $6.2 million. Fifth place is Smurfs with $5.4 million. I Know What You Did Last Summer with $5.1 million. How to Train Your Dragon in seventh place with $2.8 million. And the last week's other uh, Pedro Pascal movie, Eddington, is in eighth place with $1.6 million for the weekend. So yes, so basically in our top eight, we are bookended by Pedro Pascal movies. So the basic thing is we take in for this game, we are going to take the full culmination of the worldwide box offices, all the movies that are available to us for the game. We have 46 titles that we had chosen, that basically titles that open between the beginning of May and the end of September. And like we had mentioned before, that there are some other smaller titles that have been released to the list to that time zone after the time that we cut off. So there's a couple movies that we have missed of choosing to get. But for the most part, we're dealing with the movies that we have on our list, and who basically owns those movies gets the box office and all that. So to begin with, the worldwide box office currently running of the list that we use gives us a top 200. And to plainly state it, the number two movie that has made the most money so far since the beginning of this year is Lilo and Stitch, which currently is sitting at $1,010,000,000. So that is
Oh,
currently the only movie on our list of movies that has made the $1 billion mark. Now, not very far behind it, though, in fourth place out of the top 200 is Jurassic Park Rebirth, which has $718.3 million.
told you that one would do well.
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. It was, I mean, actually, it's surprisingly doing well. It found a good time slot to put itself into, and it's like I said, it's carrying in the top three for the past like couple
Yeah.
of weekends after, like the weekend after it was released. It's been in the top three since then, so
Yeah.
it's been
The whole
raking in its
Jurassic
money.
series made it predictable. It's all done well, so oh, what would another one do? Probably pretty well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, yeah. Followed in fifth place by How to Train Your Dragons with $605.9 million. Sixth place is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning with $591.9 million. Seventh place has F1 the movie with $509.6 million. In eighth place is Superman with $502.7 million. We have 10th place Thunderbolts with $382.2 million. In 12th place is Final Destination Bloodlines with $285.3 million. Entering the top 200 at the 13th place is the Fantastic Four, The First Steps, with a world title for its opening weekend, $218 million.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Actually, I have some information about that a little later on. In 15th place is 28 Years Later with $150 million. 19th place is Elio with $132.6 million. 20th place is From the World of John Wick Ballerina with $132.2 million. 21st place is one of Dan's other picks, which is Karate Kid Legends with $105.9 million. 27th place has Smurfs with $69 million. In
Sad.
32nd, sorry?
That's sad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, no. Well, I mean, technically for you, it kind of worked out because I know that during the draft, you and Ahmed were doing a little bidding war between Smurfs and Fantastic Four, and I believe the other wanted the other, and you guys just ended up switching.
Kind of want
So you still kind of wanted Smurfs. So in 32nd place is Materialists with $52.1 million. 35th place is I Know What You Did Last Summer with $45.5 million. 39th place is Mathregan 2.0 with 38.7. 40th place is The Phoenician Scheme with 38.5. 55th place is Bring Her Back with 22.9. 87th place is Clown in a Cornfield with 10.7. 104th place is Hurry Up Tomorrow with 7.7. 135th place is Shadow Force with 5.3. 139th place, which is, I believe, Dan's third movie, Dangerous Animals, with $4.8 million.
Woot.
Woot, yes,
It
exactly. Yeah.
adds in. It adds up.
It does that. I mean, it keeps, yeah, as long as it's making money, it's still adding to the pot. Yeah. 154th place is Fight or Flight with $4.2 million. In 189th place is The Ritual with $3.2 million. And the only movie to fall off of the top 200 is The Surfer, which is currently sitting at $2 million. Now, two of the other movies that we actually are following on this list is, as I mentioned earlier, Lilo and Stitch is the first movie, is in second place. The first movie is a movie that was released in January 25th of obviously of this year, because that's where the list is this year, and that's Niza 2, which currently has a worldwide box office is $1,899,000,000. One of the other things is just recently announced that there is going to be another North American release of this movie, but dubbed into English, having all like actual actors and all that sort of known actors doing the voices. So it's going to be able to make even more money because of a more wider release. Because again, originally released, it was all subtitled. So this is going to be another chance for a general English speaking audience to enjoy the movie as well. So chances are this movie is definitely going to be going over the $2 billion mark. And the other
Likely.
movie, And the other movie that we are actually following, because I think for the most part, everyone involved in this game is actually cheering for this movie, and that's Sinners. And it's currently sitting still at 11th place in the top 200 with $365 million. While it has already been released on video on demand, it is actually still in theaters and still making money. Now, obviously, it's not making the big box office that it will, and it probably won't make much more than what it currently is. But the fact that it still has such an amazing box office for what the movie is still a fascinating
Amazing.
thing to see. Yeah, it's still an amazing thing to see. Now, when I mentioned earlier that I was going to get back to something, so where Fantastic Four opened with, like I said, $218 million, out of our the game the movies that are in our game currently, that actually makes it the second highest opening of any of the movies that are on our list for this game. Hey
Nice.
Dan, hey Dan, you want to take a wild guess what number one was?
I'm gonna say it's got something to do with a Stitch.
There is something to do with the Stitch, yeah. So Lilo and Stitch opened. Again, this is worldwide box office, but it opened with $341 million in its opening weekend worldwide. Where, like I said, Fantastic Four was 218, but actually just $1 million behind it was Superman at 217. And then the next closest one is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which opened with actually a very impressive $204 million, seeing it also open the exact same weekend as Lilo and Stitch. So that number in itself is impressive enough to still make $200 million against a $341 million winning movie.
Busy weekend.
That was a very busy weekend. Yes, exactly. So basically that brings us down to our running totals right now. So as we have it right now, with Dan finally having his third movie come out, because it's been a while since Dan had a movie come out. And while
Yes, true.
it was a 218 million boost to his totals, he still is currently in sixth place with a $328.8 million total.
I have a lot more movies coming.
Oh, that's the other thing too. You do have a bunch of other movies to come. Yes. Candace is last week was in fifth place and still currently in fifth place with $387.8 million. I am in the same boat as well. Fourth place last week, fourth place this week with $507.5 million. Last week's number three is still this week's number three with Mitch with $1,388,000,000. Now we have again another switch around, which is kind of neat to see this back and forth, back and forth. So Natasha, who was in first place last week, has dropped to second place this week with $1,513,000,000 and jumping up to number one by almost $4 million, which is really close. First and second is just within $10 million, I think, is what the most it has been. Ahmed is number first with $1,529,400,000. So yeah, so between Natasha and Ahmed, it's going to be back and forth. But again, Superman's still going strong, which is Natasha's. But the thing is that has pushed Ahmed ahead is he's got Jurassic Park. He's making the money off of Jurassic Park, which again is in
Yeah,
fourth place so far. So yeah, so that's basically what we got. I think there's a little while before Dan comes back to us with another movie and all that. But
probably.
yeah, but next week we have coming out for the August 1st weekend. We have two movies that are on our draft, and the two movies are the Legacy, the Legacy sequel of The Naked Gun, and I think the fan favorite, The Bad Guys 2, opening this weekend. And the other thing about that is both movies are owned by Mitch. So Mitch gets back into the game after taking all of July off. After having a movie every single week in the month of June, Mitch basically has had all of July off, and now he starts with two, which are probably going to be pretty strong movies because they're going overboard with the advertisement of these two movies. There, you cannot get away from social media and not see something about either The Naked Gun or Bad Guys 2, which
Yeah,
I'm all for. Both these movies look like they're going to be. I mean, the joke is that we were all going to try and go to see The Bad Guys 2 together at some time this upcoming weekend. Whether or not that happens, I
because it
don't
came
know.
up so much.
It came up so much in that role, and yeah, it's just a fluke of a mistake, and it just became a running joke. So we just kept it on there and all that sort of thing. But so we got The Bad Guys 2, and like I said, the Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, The Naked Gun sequel. And that's basically all we got for this. You got anything else you want to say about movies and all that there, Dan?
Well, I know The Naked Gun has been playing a lot on Netflix and stuff, so I believe it's Netflix that shot them. One of them. I have a few of the streaming sites, and
Right.
it showed up, and I noticed if you were to look at its numbers of views from their company, it's pretty high. So
Yep.
people are getting ready.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And again,
This is this is
it's a
something
it's a yeah, exactly. It's a
bring in
well-loved
your kids
series
kind
too.
of thing.
Yeah, exact. Well, that's the other thing too, because if you can't get into one, you can get into the other. Like a family movie is also, which have been doing pretty good recently, but unfortunately the numbers aren't quite there. Are the family movies like Bad Guys 2, unfortunately, opening at the time it is, it's still following on the trails of like it's still having to deal with How to Train Your Dragons and Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
And even Elio, which is actually kind of a neat thing to see how the small Disney movie that could is actually doing pretty good. Again, it's not breaking any records, but it's still holding in on there and all that sort of thing. But I think with a new influx of, because you could also consider your Jurassic Park and your Superman and your Fantastic Four to also be technically family movies as well. They don't exclude a younger audience from these movies, especially
Yeah.
a Superman or a Fantastic Four. And then, hey, you throw in dinosaurs, you're going to get the kids anyway. So that's another thing. So Bad Guys has got to contend with that. And again, there aren't any really big like comedies as well, like that are just straight out comedies this year. We
But
have a
compared
lot
to
of
previous years, a lot of these movies aren't getting the complaints that other movies were getting in previous years. Like the comic book people aren't really going, "Oh, this is horrible," because like
yeah,
this is
yeah.
it's more of a we're enjoying this to this year.
Yeah, exactly. I think again, starting off with what I had planned because that's the reason why I got it that Thunderbolts was going to be a big box office because of it's the first one out there and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, it was getting great reviews. It's getting great word of mouth. It's just unfortunately not a lot of people went to see it because I still think everyone was still stung from the Captain America
Oh my God, that
movie
was
that had
bad.
come out
Yes.
in February.
And it
But
was bad. Very,
yeah,
very bad.
yeah. But
I watched it. Oh,
hey,
it was bad.
I paid a ticket to go see that. I saw that in the theater. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't blown away because it was just what it was. Well, you saw it. You know how it was. It was underwhelming.
Very.
Whereas going to see Thunderbolts a couple of months later, I was like, oh my God, this is how you do a movie like this. This is how you do a group together for the first time sort of movie. Sure, there was a lot of plot holes and all that sort of thing. There was a little bit of like situations that could have been, but just as a whole, it was an entertaining movie. And I had hoped that the
Yeah.
the way the movie was put together would have been a little more, but unfortunately it didn't. Thankfully, we got a spectacular movie from again, not Marvel, but of comic books. Superman turned out to be
Well,
fantastic,
for a
which
DC movie, that was a huge jump forward to the future for
for
them.
sure, for sure, for sure. And then Marvel coming at it with a 1-2 with Fantastic Four is just all right. So we're
Yeah.
definitely on the road to redemption for both Marvel and DC. So
At a
again, we
time when
got
everybody was saying they were sick of them, they're sure
yep,
showing up for them.
they are definitely showing up. Yep, they basically picked the probably the best year to do this sort of thing because it
Yeah.
has been a remarkable. And again, not a lot of movies are making spectacular numbers. We have plenty of movies that are like hovering around the 200, 300 million dollars, and then it drops off to like the 100 and whatnot. Not huge numbers, but there's a lot of them that are like at 150, 160
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing, which is a good sign that there are movies that are making money. So yeah. So that's all you got to say about that. Anything else you want to add to the episode there, Dan?
Not much I can think of. There's a lot of movies out there, and I hope everyone's going to the theaters because it is a much nicer experience. It makes
It
movies better.
exactly. I mean, not everyone has the giant screen, fantastic sound system at home, and this is, I think, the communal thing. I think the movies that I've been with you have been better because there was a crowd there.
Yeah,
Like a good example was both like even though we saw an earlier showing of Fantastic Four, and our Superman showing was like practically full theater sort of thing.
yeah.
The fact that everyone still stuck around, going through the
Well,
credits and all
they
that sort of thing.
applauded for the theater,
Yep,
which is nice.
exactly, which is always a fun thing too. And you don't get that when you sit in the theater by yourself, sort of thing. But if you're in a theater with a group of people, it always enriches the experience of the movies, which is the reason why I love going to the theater. I mean, I love going to the theater because I don't have the sound system and the big picture and all that sort of thing. So even if I'm in a theater and I'm like one of like four people, I still enjoy the hell out of it. I'll still laugh out
Uh,
loud. I'll still like give a cheer and all that sort of thing when that happens. But when there's more people around and the more people that interact, yeah, no, that's definitely the fun time to be in a theater for, especially when you're there for like opening weekend because everyone is paid the money because they want to see this movie as early as possible and all that sort of thing. So there's less of a the lackluster crowd that comes in like 2 3 weeks later and it's all sort of like people chatting in the background or talking through the movie and all that sort of thing. You pay for the movie opening weekend, you're there for the movie itself, so yeah.
yeah, I find it even if I am by myself, and even if I have a giant screen at home, it's just the theaters always make it better. It's got the right sound around you and just the right
Mm-hmm.
feel.
Yeah,
It
exactly,
just
yeah.
I just enjoy it more.
Yeah, and we're also of the generation that grew up going to movie theaters. Like we were kids when there was no streaming systems at home. There was no way to access this stuff. It wasn't
Yeah,
until much later in our lives, well, I wouldn't say much later in our lives, but later into our movie watching lives when we had a VCR, when we were able to rent movies and all that sort of thing. But you still, at that time, you still went out to the theaters. Just a couple of months later, then you got to see the movie on VHS and all again. And then, of course, the DVDs and move on and all that sort of thing.
yeah.
But
Well,
again, I've
watching it at
always,
home is so you can catch all the details you missed because you were so
exactly,
focused on the story in the first show.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. That is the reason to watch something on home video or on streaming because you're like, ooh, I didn't see that before. So, yeah. All right, so that being said, we're gonna wrap up this particular episode. Thank you, Dan, for joining me for this little Fantastic Four First Steps refresh and all that.
My
Congratulations
pleasure.
on the movie there. I can see you definitely because currently right now it's basically the top three fighting for top place, and that's the us bottom three fighting for, I guess, fourth place and all that sort of thing. And now with you having Fantastic Four, that's a pretty good shot for you to probably bounce up in the next couple of weeks because I don't have anything until September, and I don't think Candace has anything until like 2 weeks into August is her next movie. So
Oh, geez, I
you've
have a
got to
chance.
you've got to you have a chance to drop one of us, well, past probably both of us. I do not see it it not happening. So just depends on
We'll
who comes
see.
in last out of us three and all that sort of thing. So it looks like it could be down to me and Candace unless I
I'll
double check
I'll do
Candace's
better
list and
next year.
see. Yeah,
Better
no, that's the other
strategy.
thing too. I think we're all going to be playing a little more strategic next year when we play this game, and I think we're going to try and beat Natasha at her own game, sort of thing. All right. So once again, thank you, Dan. Thank you, audience. Again, be sure go out see movies in the movie theater because that's the only way that people are going to know that people are going to see the movies by making more money at the theaters, and they make more money at the theaters, so they're going to make movies for the theaters. So do yourself a favor, go out and see a movie Because, like Dan said, there's tons of stuff out there, and no matter what you want to see, you're probably going to find something out there that'll be what you want to see. All right, so until next time, see you at the box office.
You've just been listening to the Summer Movie Draft 2025, a Planet Geek production. Be sure to download, subscribe, share, comment, and review. It most definitely helps us out. If you would like to buy us a coffee, be sure to go to ko-fi.com/planetgeekpod. Any and all donations will go to future improvements of Planet Geek Productions. You can follow Planet Geek Productions on our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, or Letterboxd. Search for Planet Geek Productions. On X, former Twitter, Instagram, or Blue Sky, search for Planet Geek Pod. Or reach out to us via email at planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and see you at the box office.